Good evening, my wonderful people. How are you doing? How are we doing? I trust we are all fine by His grace. Good evening. It's another week, another day. It is Wednesday, and we are live on Discovery Time. Come on, help me share, tag someone, come in and let's have a good time. Good evening. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining wherever you are joining from, whether it's good evening, whether it's good morning, whether it's good afternoon. I welcome you all on Discovery Time, where we learn, relearn, unlearn to grow. Not that we are discovering new things, but, kind of like learn from each other, but also things that we might have forgotten. We bring it back to remembrance, or we remind ourselves of from for some certain things. We also learn new things by the grace of God. So I welcome you all. You are all welcome. If you are there, hi, say something. Let me know you are there. You are all welcome. Thank you so much. I trust you've all had a wonderful week. My week has been, well, by the grace of God, it has been awesome. It has been good. And I'm just trying to, relax, chillax a bit with the vacation, but eh, there is a lot and a lot still to be done. So we are trying to balance things by the grace of God. Anyways, you are welcome once again to Discovery Time. This evening's topic is one that I think we all need. We all need it. And all the topics we all need, but this evening, I think we can all use something from this topic. We've been dealing with foundation since last month, and this topic also deals with foundation. It's like part of it. And we said when a foundation is, faulty, it causes problem, right? When you don't build a strong foundation, it will cause problem in the future if you're trying to, build a strong building, a strong house. And it's the same thing with us. If our character, if things in us, are not good, it can cause problem. And those are the foundations. We dealt with the foundation of as a family, and the name as a foundation, the character, you know. And this evening, the topic is brokenness. Brokenness. It's you cannot deal with greatness without dealing with all these things. I mean, when I get the topics, I get so excited because I'm like, wow, you can indeed you cannot deal with greatness if you don't deal with all these things. You don't deal with foundation, you don't deal with fear, you don't deal with the will, the strong thing called the will. And brokenness is one of them. Brokenness is something that if you need it, we all need it. And so I don't want to define it right now. I want you all of us, let's join to define what brokenness is. It's all about. So please, if you are there, just say hi, chat, so they'll know you are there. And then we start, dealing with what brokenness is all about. Last week, we did recap. The past 2 weeks, we do a recap of the subjects that we've been dealing with so far, so that we don't forget them. Because the purpose here is not just to come every Wednesday and ask of your time and just be on the screen. No, the purpose here is that we really get something, that we really learn something, that we really also build on something. So everything has been a foundation as well, and it builds on the past one. So that's why once in a while I'll be doing recap, so that we know what we've been dealing with and how we are moving forward. And last week I did a recap on the time factor. How time, is so so important, and that we don't own time. We don't own time, and time owes us nothing. It's what you make out of it. Good evening, Jane. How are you doing? God bless you. Please help me tag, share, spread the word. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. My family, we are all doing fine by His grace. Thank you. And yours? Thank you so much. Oh, work has been great. Work has been good. It has been doing us, we've been doing it. But we thank God in everything. We give God the glory. Right now, we are now on break, so I'm trying to balance things, um, on the home front as well. We thank God. And how is your side? Yes, please help, come in, call in the Calvary. Let's define what brokenness actually is. Good evening, Bisola. How are you doing? How is the family? I'm very fine. Thank you very much for asking. And you? Please help us do what we do best. Call in the Calvary. Thank you, Bisola. Call in the Calvary. Let them know that we are on, we are live, and we are ready to move, so that we can all be able to define what the topic of this evening is all about. Right. Thank you, my dear. So, the topic of this evening is, good evening, patients. How are you doing? God bless you. Thank you for joining. Brokenness. Brokenness. Can someone please help me to define brokenness? I was trying something and I hope it works, but just help me define brokenness. What do you associate brokenness with? Like, what words? If you hear the word brokenness, what comes to mind? Just write it out. Whatever comes to your mind, write it out. Brokenness. What comes to your mind when you hear that word? Mhm. Write it out for me, my people. What comes to your mind when you hear brokenness? Now, if we were in a classroom, this is how I would have done it. I would have just, like, I have a system. We call it word cloud, and I'll try and do it here. I'll try. So when you start saying the words, I'll try to put them in and see what the result will be. So the student will log in and then start giving the word that they associate with, whatever that I've put in out there. so that we form a word cloud. And at the end, we'll see which words came out more, was used more, was said more, and why. So Patience says, brokenness is a strong emotional pain. Okay. Brokenness is a strong emotional pain. So I'm going to write emotion. Strong emotional pain. All right. And how do you get it? Emotional pain. Okay. It's an emotional pain. Mm-hmm. Okay. What else? Please come on, people. Let's make it interactive. Brokenness is a strong emotional pain. Fine. Let's make it interactive, people. What is brokenness? What do you associate with brokenness? Okay, Bisola says brokenness is when you feel shattered and lose all hopes. Mhm. When you're being hurt and feel so pain because it's coming from an unexpected person. All right. So when you really feel hurt and all hope. Okay. So I'll write here hopeless, loss of all hope. So hopeless. Okay. All right. Yes. So brokenness is a strong emotional pain, hopeless. You feel shattered, but it's still dealing on emotion. It's still dealing on emotion. So all that you've defined here is that it's an emotion. Okay. Jane says, brokenness in my own thinking is an emotional feelings that disorganize someone's thinking. Okay. It disorganizes your thinking. All right. It's an emotion and it disorganizes your thinking. All right. Okay. Can someone give an instance? Like, how can, in which situation can you be so broken? If taking the definition that you have been given now, in which situation can you be that broken that it will hurt so much, that you'll be shattered, that you will yeah, in which situation? Because there are a lot of situations, I think. Good evening, Debbie. How are you doing? Thank you so much, my sharers. God bless you. So, Debbie, my dictionary. Thank God you are here. So, I ask, what can you define, or in your own words, my dear, what brokenness means to you? What do you associate brokenness with? I'm waiting. I want this evening to be more interactive. So I've heard brokenness is a strong emotion. It's an emotion where you feel, hurt, you feel you lose hope. Um and it also disorganizes your thinking, is what I have gotten so far. So Debbie, help us out also with your own definition. Brokenness. Again, it's a topic that is deep, that is wide. All right. So Bisola is giving us an instance of a situation. My current situation now at home, I feel broken because I wasn't expecting what is really going on, and it's breaking me into pieces. It's making me lose concentration, and I feel like not giving a try again. Oh, my dear. Wow. I can't imagine what you're going through. I'm so sorry for all that you're going through, but I hope, please do not give up. Do not give up no matter the situation. Um, Good evening, Destiny. Good evening, Patience. How are you all doing? You're welcome. How are you doing? I'm doing fine, Patience. Thank you so much. Wow, Bisola. In life we go through things. We come across situations, and it's I think those situations that either break you or make you. Yes. Brokenness, Bisola says, is what nobody should desire. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, patient. You're welcome, my dear. I'm so sorry for what you're going through, Bisola. Even though I don't know the details of it, I don't need to know. But I know that there is no situation that everyone's pain is enough. Everyone's pain is enough. So I'm so sorry what you're going through, and I pray that God will strengthen you. And I hope also by the end of this evening, you will also see brokenness in a different light, because we have the different forms and different shades of brokenness. And so I hope, no, you've not missed out, my dear. We are still on the definition of brokenness. And so I hope by the end of this evening and the series, that we will begin to see brokenness in a different light, in a different way. You know. Good evening, Victoria. You are welcome, my dear. How are you doing? You're welcome, dear. So please, as you are coming, help us. Tell us in your own words, what do you understand under the topic brokenness? What do you understand? What do you associate also with brokenness? Maybe that would be easier. What do you associate with brokenness? Yes, Bisola, I hope so too. I hope by the end of the series that you have a different um, view on brokenness. So brokenness indeed has different shades. The same with fear. You know how we took fear. Fear is what false evidence appearing real to some. While if you take fear in a different way, it becomes the pushing factor, the factor that kind of like make you move, no matter what you move. Um, it can paralyze you, or it can also be the that engine, that one that gives you power um, to move on. All right, so help us, please, as you come, help us to define brokenness. Brokenness can stop someone from living a normal life, patient says, a normal and healthy life, but try not to allow yourself to lose hope. All right. So brokenness here is really dealing on the emotion. Yeah. In the loss of a loved one can break you. Um, Even when you separate from a loved one, in let's say in a marriage situation, when you divorce, it's a situation, it's a very devastating situation. So yeah, you have brokenness in different ways, that can really absolutely shatter your life, that can um it can really reduce your also how you see life, the hope that you have in life, that hopeless situation. um it makes you really, you also lose trust. You lose trust in yourself, you lose trust in others, you lose trust in a whole lot of things when we are taking brokenness from that angle. um and so brokenness in that area, it's actually is associated with sorrow, with pain, especially when that brokenness does not come from, you know the enemies, but from the ones you loved. Absolutely. you know no one can hurt you more than the ones you loved. No one can hurt you more. If someone out there hurts or does something, you don't take it as hard if the person is not close to you. It's only when they are close to you that it will really hurt you. you know so when we are taking brokenness from that angle, like someone really hurting you purposely or not intended, due to situation, circumstances, you really, really feel worthless, you feel hopeless. Um, and especially when it comes with, when it's in a situation of, being left behind for another person, it really kind of hit your self-esteem. Yeah, like, why will my partner leave me for that other person? Am I not good enough? You really start doubting yourself. Everything good about yourself, you just start doubting it. Am I not good enough? Even if that person did not leave the other one, you did not leave you for the other one, but the fact that they are looking out there, the fact that they are going out, it still breaks you and make you feel unworthy, because why will you be there and someone will still be looking out there for something else? You lose focus on everything. Yes, that's what they, you lose focus about everything. Absolutely. All right. Yeah, it's a topic that it concerns us all. It concerns us all, and it's in all layers of our lives. And so, right now, from the definition that I've received, it's more on the emotional, on the pains that we go through that breaks us. They have this saying, what doesn't kills you makes you. And that's the part of the emotional aspect of brokenness. When you go through some certain things that is supposed to crush you, it's supposed to mess you up, really. But on the other hand, instead of it messing you up, you find the grace and strength to emerge a stronger version than yourself. Anything that does not keep you down has just helped you elevate you, has just helped you, made you stronger. So there is a part of you that somehow needed to shed off. Not that not that we have to pray for situations like, those situations. Absolutely not. Because there are other ways that we can deal with or get to learn. But sometimes we need to go through some certain things in order for us to emerge stronger. When the eagle reach a certain age, they isolate themselves on a very high mountain, high top. They go to the highest top and isolate themselves. And then they put themselves, not that someone else, they put themselves through the process of shedding off. They shed off their old feathers. It's a painful process, my dear people. They shed it off, you know, and they become so vulnerable. Because they don't have anything protecting them. That's why they go that high up. They don't have anything protecting them again. So until they start growing new and stronger feathers, they need to isolate themselves and be there facing that pain of shedding off. And they will use their, some will be using their own to be removing. They know they need to remove those old feathers. If they don't remove it, they become weak. They are weak and therefore what? Easy to prey on. So they prefer to isolate themselves for some weeks. This is not a day or two. They isolate themselves for some weeks to remove the old and to grow the new. And until the new is really, out, they are there inside the caves in the high mountain. And like I'm saying, they are very easy prey. It's only those, there is just one other bird that fly that high, that can reach where they are. But because these eagles are quite wise, eagles are very wise, and that's why they are the king of the birds. They go that top, you know, go through that process. Why? Because after that process, absolutely determined. They are determined. Why? Because it prolonged their life. They live longer and better after they have shed off those old feathers. They live longer. Their wings become stronger and they fly higher. So there are sometimes some things that you kind of like feel we don't need to. But in some situations, in some things, maybe you need to go through the process. No matter how difficult, no matter how painful, we need sometimes to go through that process to emerge a better version of ourselves. I can take myself as an example. There are some things, honestly, if I did not go through, I don't think I can be here. I don't think I can be sharing some things. I don't think I can have some experiences that I can relate to some certain things. When those things were happening, you ask yourself why. Honestly, as a child, as you wonder why, what have I done? What have I done to deserve all this? If there was a previous life before, what was I? How did I come in that previous life to be deserving all that? But as a mature person and looking back, you realize there are some things I needed to go through so that I can be able to coach some people, so that I can be able to relate to some certain stories, so that I can be able to say, hey, I feel you, I hear you, but there is hope. Good evening, Tessie. You are welcome. No, you are not too late, my dear. You are welcome. How are you doing? It's not everything that is, I'm not saying we have to go through everything. No, 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 no. There are some things that could be avoided. But somehow I also believe that our maker allows some things for a reason. And that reason is honestly to train us as his children. Because if you live life with no challenge at all, you learn nothing. You learn nothing out of life. But it's through those challenges you get trained. You shed off some certain things that you're like, hey, come on, this is not needed. Let me remove it, and so that I can move on. So that the next one coming, it's not that once you finish that battle is finished. Oh no, 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 no. Because it's preparing you for a higher one. It's preparing you. You finish this level, you go to another level. I mean, take games, for example. You finish one level, they start with the basic level. From basic level to level A to level, you go to higher level. Each level you finish. Why? They assume you've gained experience. And so they make it more difficult for you in the next level. It's just how life is. The, the more experience you get in some setting, the more challenges come your way. Good evening, Joy. You're welcome. How are you doing? Seriously, patience, life journey carries a lot of challenges. But it's through those challenges, you can emerge a stronger version. In my book, I really talk about the butterfly. I use the butterfly and the eagle a lot as examples because these, to me, are like the animals and insects that decide. They don't have the free will that we have. We have a free will. It's a gift given to us by our maker. And so we have the free will to decide not to do some things, to decide not to go through some things. We decide, no, we don't want this. And so we leave it. They don't have that choice. It's either you go through it or you die. So it's a death and life situation. And so because they know it's a death and life situation, they go through it. They don't decide. The caterpillar does not decide, well, if I turn into a butterfly, my life expectancy might be very short. So I prefer to remain a caterpillar. They don't get to decide. And still they need to isolate themselves, go through that painful process of becoming a new species, becoming a new thing, becoming a new creature. And they go through it. But it is we. That's why my first ever topic was on the will. That was the foundation that I laid. The will is given to us as a gift, but it's also something that needs taming. And that's where this brokenness will also come into. The will is something that needs taming because without that, we cannot move forward in life. And so, because we have the will, we can decide. The decision is ours. While other things in life, everything in life is bound to principles. Is bound to principles. And so once the condition is met, what happened? The next step just kick in. Once the condition is met, the next step kicks in. When we dealt with principles, I said the principles and laws are made. And the only thing, the condition in the laws, once they are fulfilled, the rest follow, the result comes. Nature is built with the principles in it. You sow a corn, it is corn that is going to grow, not apple, corn. You sow a corn and you also don't maintain it, well, the chances of it growing well for you also will be limited. So there are principles in things. Life is full of principles. And so when we are able to follow those principles, we'll be able to, the conditions will just be met and the fruits will be coming out. But when we deal with this topic of brokenness, we've spoken about brokenness from the emotional aspect, the aspect of, being hurt, the aspect of feeling so much pain that you wonder what is the essence of life. Good evening, Gift. You are welcome. The you feel so much betrayal. You feel so much betrayed because you trusted people around you and they hurt you, and that breaks you. That is the aspect we've been dealing with so far. But I promise you, Bisola, by the end of this series, not only this evening, but also next week, you will understand that there is a different aspect of brokenness. So, but that emotional one, let's deal with it this evening. Because, like I said, using my own life as an example, there are things that I've been through that, looking back, it makes you feel then really life had no meaning. Life had no meaning because it is, why should a child be going through those things? Life had no meaning. To what purpose should someone suffer? Good evening, Cecilia. You are welcome, my dear. I'm doing fine. Thank you so much. I hope you are all doing great. Adumola, you are welcome. God bless you. Sometimes you wonder, and I know all of us, I mean, most of us, we've been through things in life growing up that you wonder to what purpose? Why was it necessary? Why should someone be doing this? Why was it necessary for that? But one thing I've come to realize in life, then I was wondering, is there something that I had, I have done to attract, uh, all those things, to attract beatings, to attract, you feel like you've done something. You are not, you are, it's you. You are the fault. You are the one that something is wrong. Until the thinking changed and realized, no, you are not the one. You are not the one. It's just the wickedness of some people. It's the wickedness of some people. Some people that choose to be wicked and pay you evil for your good. Some people that choose to be wicked, and no matter what you do, they just choose to be wicked. Once I start realizing all that, it changed my mind and perception. It was not I that was worthless. It was just that some people decided to be wicked. And so those challenges did not, instead of them crippling me, made me stronger at the end of the day. Determined not to allow it to define who I am, not to allow it to define my tomorrow, but to allow myself use these gifts of real to define, by the grace of God and the help of God, what He has destined for me to do, to achieve it. It's not easy. Good evening, Lydia. Some people, it's a choice. See, life is all about choices. I don't believe in this thing called I did not have a choice. We always have a choice in every situation, except children. Children that they don't have any say anyhow. They have to follow whatever their parents say. But the point in living as a child that there is a choice that you have to make. Good evening, Linda. You're welcome. There is a choice that you have to make. And so you cannot be there and say, I did not have a choice. My day has been fine so far. Thank you so much. I hope yours too. It's like, um, let's go on this thing of cheating. You go and cheat and then you come and say, well, I did not have a choice because, yeah, the way you are treating me, or the way I wasn't feeling this or that. And so, I mean, we all have a children nowadays make choices. Absolutely, yes. Yes. But there is no excuse for anyone to say, I did not have a choice. One thing I always say is that we don't choose what happened to us. That's for sure. The things that happen to you, the choice that someone else has made is their choice. And so you don't have influence on the choice of the other. So you cannot choose what happens to you, by your reaction, how you react to it, how you deal with it. That's entirely yours. What the other choose, you cannot, that's their choice. But how you react to it is entirely yours. You can choose how to react on them. And so you can choose how they can break you. We are dealing with brokenness as emotion. You can choose how they can break you. It is you that give that power. See, when Jesus was talking about taking the keys back from Satan, it was not the keys like, physical keys. I think we all know that. But the keys that we handed over is the power, the authority that we handed over in the Garden of Eden, where we handed over that authority. When Adam said, no, it's Eve, when Eve now push, blame gives snake. You handed over the authority. And it was those keys that was returned back to us. So we have received that back. We have received those keys back. So it's up to you. It is you that can hand it over again. It is you that can give someone the room to mess you up left, right, center. It's painful, yes. But it's not, they cannot keep you bound. Whatever they have done or do or think they can do to you, it is how you allow them to affect you, to inflict pain on you, that it will happen. The brokenness is, how should I put it? Don't get me wrong, it's very painful when someone close to you hurts you. When someone close to you stab you in the back, it's very painful. And sometimes you wish you don't want to do anyone good, because it's most of the time those that have been, you've opened your heart so much to, that will break you. That will break you. But like in everything in life, when dealing with things, I have come to a point in life that yes, it's painful, but I cannot allow it to affect me too much. I'll cry, oh, not I'm not, no one is machine. We are all human beings. And you feel the pain, but then you pick up and move on. You pick up and move on. Why? Because life moves on. That person is probably moving on. If it is not a case of losing that person, forever. Even in that case, there is time to mourn, there is time to be sorrowful. And no matter how painful that is, life still must move on. You must rise again. The Bible says that we will not face affliction. So affliction will come, temptation, all that, trials, we will face them. But the righteous do what? Rise. How many times? How many times? Can someone help me out? Affliction will come, but the righteous will rise. How many times? I want you people to say it. We must. As long as we are living on this earth, as long as you are on this earth, you are not exempted from pain. You are not exempted from sorrow. We are not exempted from it, because they will surely come. But it is in there we must be careful not to lose that hope. It is in there we must be careful not to give up everything. No, affliction will not come a second time. Affliction will not come. Yes, affliction will not come a second time. But the righteous will rise. Okay, Lydia says, I have come to a point where death does not move me again, ever since I lost my mom. Ah, I'm so sorry, my dear. I'm so sorry, my condolences. Amen. May God strengthen you. He is your father, He is your mother, He's our everything. Well, when you lose someone close and dear to you, it's a different situation. But then again, life still moves on. No matter how painful it is, life still moves on. And you move on with the memory. That's why most of the time I keep saying, life and death It's something that is we cannot escape. We are born one day, we will die one day. But what remains? Two things: where you are going to and how you'll be remembered by the people that you leave behind. These are the two things that will remain. That's what legacy is all about. Where you are going to spend eternity, and the legacy you leave behind for the people to remember you with. That is what matters in this life. That is what matters in this life. Life goes on, seriously, regardless. Patience. Dealing with the pain is tough. But in all this, there is one thing that I've come to realize. I've come to realize that the pain that we go through, that we are going through, is pain that God goes through every day. Because of our betrayal, because of our ingratitude, because of our actions. And so if we, most of the time I get so, if we feel this much pain by another person treating us in a way that we feel hurt, just think about it. How does he then feel? The pain is tough. That's why Jesus is there, still in his human form, to represent and say, Father, see, have mercy. Have mercy. I walked among them. I lived among them. I saw and felt the pain. Throughout the journey to Calvary, he was bruised, he was beaten. But things he did not do, things he did not owe, he felt the pain, he took the pain. Good evening, for Lashade. Good evening, you're welcome, my dear. He felt the pain, the thorns on his head, so painful. The blood that was coming out into his eyes. And instead of water, they gave vinegar on his wounds. Ha! So painful. He felt those pains. I'm doing fine, my dear. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing fine too. So sometimes I just imagine if we can feel hurt so badly, so deeply, then how much more? What we do every single day that we don't even think of. Brokenness. From the emotional aspect, is painful, is sorrow. From the emotional aspect, we don't wish anyone to go through that brokenness. But sometimes it's needed. He paid the debt he did not own just so that we can live, just so that we can have the gift of life in full authority back. So knowing this should give us hope, even in the hopeless situation. Knowing this should give us hope. No situation is permanent. No situation on earth is permanent. Might be painful, hurting, but that too shall pass. That too shall pass. Remember, time is what? Infinite. It goes round. Life comes in seasons, and every season comes with its own challenge. And it's up to us to face and embrace those challenges. There are some challenges you just have to embrace it. Make up your mind, embrace it, and storm it through. You can't do away with it, but you must see it through. So storm it through. If you have your way and you can decide somehow, fine. But you are still going to face, no matter which road you take, you are still going to face some challenges along the way. All the roads we will take, well, if you like, you have a destination, but you have different routes to lead you to your destination. And so if you want to take the shortcut, you might think it's shortcut, but you might meet maybe serious challenges along the way. If you want to take the long road, you might think, every road will come with their own challenges one way or the other. Exactly, Lydia. God will always make a way. But the best thing is actually to seek Him first before making the step. Seek Him first for Him to lead the way. Again, not that challenges will not come. See, when God was leading the Israelites from Egypt, due to their own stubbornness, they were dwelling in the desert for how long? But God was still leading them. In the night, it was what? A fire to lead them. In the day, it was pillar of cloud to lead them. He was still leading them all right. But due to their own stubbornness, they had to just be going round, round, round for how many years? In a desert for a journey that could have maybe taken 7 days. So sometimes we need to sit down and check, is this something we are doing causing all these things? Is it something we are doing to be causing some certain things? Those are the things you can quickly, deal with. How you heal from it matters, absolutely. Whatever you have under your control are your choices, the things that you know and can do something about. You have under your control and you can do something about it. That is if you recognize it is, something you have under your control, something you can do to change. First, you must recognize it. And then you can do something about it by the help of God. Now, if you don't recognize and you think it's all the other ones, and then I'm very sorry to say, but very little is also going to change. In the case of being hurt by other people, I believe indeed finding a way to heal is very important. But most importantly, finding a way to forgive yourself. To forgive yourself. That's self-forgiveness. Unforgiveness holds us in the state of like brokenness. That emotional brokenness. Unforgiveness keep us in that state. And that's why the Bible urges us, God urges us to forgive, not for the other, but for our own sake. To forgive so that we can heal faster. But most importantly, to forgive yourself. Because sometimes, like I said in my example, you think it's you that caused it. So you start blaming yourself in a way. Thank you, my dear Lydia. You start blaming yourself in a way. You hold yourself actually ransom. You hold yourself ransom. You hold yourself as a hostage. Why? Because if I had not done this, if I have not done that, if I have maybe do this or do that, I done did that. The ifs and the what and what should have and what could have, that's mean nothing in a situation, and it will not heal you. So the best is to let go and let God in. Let go and let God in to heal you. That's the only way. If you are so broken, so shattered, so much in pains, and you are blaming, you find it so difficult to forgive, mostly yourself, please, please let go so that you can be healed from the pain. When you have a wound, don't you treat it. How come when we have physical wound, we take time to treat it? We put medicine, all that we need to do so that it will not infect, so that it will not become, no infection will come on it and so forth. But we don't do that with our emotional wounds. We don't do that. We don't take time to cater for our emotional wounds. Number one thing there is self-forgiveness. Forgive yourself. That's where the healing will now start. Be taking in things that will heal you. Read things that will energize you, that will boost your morale. Start with the Bible if you've not done that. There are a lot of things in the Bible that will help you. Seriously. There will be a Bible verse that you'll read, you'll be like, God, thank you. That's the number one place to go to for emotional, even if you think it's not spirit, emotional well-being. Then number one medicine place I will say Bible. And then also find someone you really can confine in. You really can confine in. So that you can what? Even if it is, say out things loud. I've learned now as I'm praying, I use my prayer time as my therapeutical sessions. You say it out. Say it out. God says, come and let's reason together. So, Daddy, here I am. This is what I'm going. You know it's not hidden before you, but you say we should say it. So you say it out. Words spoken out have power and have the way of transforming you both inside and out. So you say it out. Like that, you are also giving that wound like a place to come out. Instead of harboring it in, keeping it in. I've realized Africans, we do that a lot. We do that a lot. We keep things so much in, and on the outside, we are just laughing, saying everything, but we are keeping things in, burying it in. One day to just explode. Oh, what happened? Heart attack at this young age? Please, my people, it's not everything that is spiritual. They did not send anything from village. Anyway, sometimes it's the things we harbor in ourselves for so long will cause high blood pressure, will cause a heart attack at a very young age. Please, let's take things, our emotional and spiritual well-being serious. If you would take time to take care of the wound outside, how much more the wound inside? That is the most killing. That is the most killing, and we need to take time for that. Emotional brokenness is not something we joke over. No. But you need to take time. You remember when I was dealing with the topic emotion? Identify those things that trigger you. Maybe you think you are over something, but then something, one word or one sentence, something that someone will do will trigger some emotion in you and will bring up that pain. It means you've not dealt with that pain. You've not dealt with it. So try and identify those things and work on it and pray over it. Ask God to heal you on those aspects. See, coming to God, like I said, is principle. If you want your prayers to be answered, you need to pray accurately. The word of God says we pray in our midst. Why? Because we just say, oh God, thank you, heal me. But heal you from what? Can you go to the doctor and say, heal me, when the doctor does not, even though God knows, but he says, say it. Heal you from what? From what exactly? Identify your needs and go before him and say, Daddy, this is it. This is it. But even the ones that I don't know, Holy Spirit, help me. Help me. Pray for me. Intercede for me. That's why he's called the intercessor, the helper. Please, let's take care of our emotional being. These are silent killers. They are silent killers. They are killing us gradually. We don't take care of things. We just rush through life, but it's not meant to be like that. We will be more effective when we know the things holding us bound, holding us back, holding us down. When you are broken, like you started with, it holds you down. You lose focus. Everything is just blur, and then you enter into depression. Please, that will not be our portion in Jesus' name. You need to really identify, what am I going through? What is the origin? What is the cause? Why am I going through it? And if it is something that has been reoccurring, then that is even when you need to take more time to identify them. Everything reoccurring, it's like a circle going round. You need to break it. You need to break it. What is it? Why is it that I'm going through all this each time, every time, the same thing? Take time and identify it. The keys have been given to us. Exactly, my dear sister. And if you complain, you are not going to get any results from prayer. We will go and we will sit. You say, I prayed 4 hours, or I prayed 5 hours. Or it's not the matter of how many hours you pray, it's how effective is your prayers. And you can be effective when you start knowing and learning the principles. Then we'll become more effective. My dear Bisola, I hope that it has shined a little bit, not that, because the work still needs to be done. You still need to take time and forgive yourself. All of us, wherever you feel there is a pain, there is a hurt, the first thing you need to do, forgive yourself, forgive the other. It's painful, but you are not doing it for them. You are doing it for your own self. How do you know you are forgiving the other? When you can see and say hello. You don't need to be chit chat, no. But when you can see, like, it doesn't touch you anymore. It doesn't do anything. Your heart does not beat anyhow. You don't want to run away. That's when you know you have forgiven them. But sometimes it's easy to say I have forgiven until you meet face to face. So that's when you know you are forgiving them. So forgive, learn to forgive. It's difficult, but invite the Holy Spirit to help, to forgive. And then now the wound itself, whatever it was, you address it. Is it something that's been reoccurring? Address it and deal with it. And I pray that God will help us, because we cannot do it by our own strength. We can't do it. He that sees knows. He has gone into our tomorrow. He knows everything. Yet, he has given us the key. That's why he said we should have dominion. And so because we have received the keys, we need to use it. And it's only by using it, it can start working for us. The doors can start opening for us. It is well. So today we dealt with emotional brokenness. Next week, we'll continue with brokenness. Brokenness is broad, but we are going to take it gradually by His grace. And I pray that God will help us. Will shine light, on one or two things by His grace. It is well, my dear. It is well. So God bless you all. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope your time has been worth it. Thank you all so much. Next week, same time, 8 p.m. Central European time by His grace. Amen. Thank you also so much for being here. Yes, so we'll meet next week by His grace. Thank you so, so much. God bless you all. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Be blessed. Bye.